This is a presentation of the University of Wisconsin-Parkside.
I'm especially excited to introduce today's commencement speaker. He's one of our very own. A recipient of UW-Parkside's Alumni Association's 2010 Distinguished Alumni Achievement Award, Dr. Jeffrey Medin found success in the classroom and on the soccer field during his time as a student athlete. Dr. Medin is quick to credit many of the lessons learned from his former coach, Rick Kilps. The success on the soccer field in 1984 gave Dr. Medin a measure of internal personal confidence, and he says has helped him at times when research has been especially challenging. In addition to Coach Kilps, numerous UW-Parkside faculty were influential. Emeritus Professor Eugene Goodman and the late Sam Philippone helped shape Dr. Medin's life and direct him to a career in biomedical research. He has spent a year at Abbott Laboratories in North Chicago and then enrolled in the Department of Biochemistry at the University of Kentucky, where he earned a PhD in 1991. He then trained for several years at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. After serving as an assistant professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago, he moved to Canada, where he is now a senior scientist at the University Health Network in Toronto, with appointments at the Ontario Cancer Institute, the Toronto General Research Institute, and the Toronto Western Reserve Institute. Dr. Medin is also a professor in the Department of Medical Biophysics and the Institute of Medical Sciences at the University of Toronto. He has published more than 120 peer-reviewed scientific papers, edited a book, and has 2 issued patents, and is a sought-after presenter. Perhaps I am most proud of Dr. Medin's willingness to give back. He has provided us numerous opportunities to UW-Parkside's biological science students to assist with important research at the University of Toronto. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome today's commencement speaker, Dr. Jeffrey Medin.
Wow, thanks. Many thanks to Chancellor Ford for the invitation to be part of this day. It's a great honor to be back at Parkside and to share these accomplishments with you. It's especially fitting to be back in this building. Some of my best memories came out of involvement in athletics at Parkside. It may have been a long time ago, but I remember sitting in these same stands, in fact sitting about in the middle over there, and enjoying the same commencement event from your perspective. I remember thinking, who is this guy, and is he ever going to stop talking so I can get my degree and get on with my life? I may have had more hair then and a few less pounds, and for confirmation of that, you can see my picture on the wall of the Sports and Activity Center. But the excitement and the anticipation was the same. It's really great to be back here in this context. I want to make just a couple of simple points, and then I will get out of the way and let you get on with your future. Point number 1, you have made it a long ways just on hard work. What kind of curious statement is that? Let me say it again. You have made it a long ways just on hard work. So where did this come from and why is this relevant here? Well, it turns out these were comments I received in a performance review a short time ago from a Cornell, Rockefeller grad, Harvard professor that moved to Toronto to head an institute. I'm sure his statement to me was meant to be derogatory. In contrast, I take it as a badge of honor. It encompasses a couple of things. You have made it a long ways. Even he had to acknowledge that. Thus, I must have been smart enough to know that hard work is a good thing. I ask you, how many smart people have not made it very far? We have all come a long ways. You, me, everybody in here. Everyone has a different and interesting story. I have many colleagues and collaborators that went to the finest prep schools and then Ivy League universities. We are not those people. We have side jobs, we have families, we go to night school, and we ride public transportation. I was like the majority of you, the first in my family to go to university. Further, I had absolutely no money when I went to Parkside. I had to live loan by loan, like many of you do. I was even able to attend here simply because of the help of a local family, Sterling and Vi Hubbard of Kenosha, let me live in a spare bedroom that they have, and even provided meals. Yet through this bad thing called hard work, I've been able to level the playing field and accomplish some things in my life. Parkside prepared me very well for a career in biomedical research and for life in general. For the last few years, I've been fortunate to have space to take on some summer students from UWP in my lab in Toronto. They come into a very competitive environment. In fact, they're rubbing elbows with some of the best and brightest young people from across Canada. But you know what? They hold their own. The Parkside students hold their own intellectually, and they work hard. Makes me very proud to be a Parkside grad. Sorry. From Parkside, I went on to the University of Kentucky. There I received my PhD in biochemistry. Funny thing, one of my worst classes at Parkside was biochemistry. So there I went on to the National Institutes of Health in Maryland, and I was fortunate to work with Dr. Roscoe Brady, who discovered 4 different diseases and the treatment for 2 of them. He's a member of the National Academy of Sciences and a Lasker and Kovalenko Award winner. A fantastic mentor. Indeed, we're still in contact to this day. Speaking of hard work, Dr. Brady is in his 90s and he still goes to work every day, simply because he loves it and he can't imagine doing anything else. He's still making ideas, negotiating deals, tells me, Jeff, I have some new research, I can't tell you about it because it's secret. Okay. So this brings me to point number 2. Don't stop here. You cannot stop here. You can do even more. Keep growing and learning and living. Take risks. You don't know how much you can accomplish, how much you can endure. Push yourself. Don't make excuses either. Don't be a poser. Make personal connections, but be about content. When I was at the NIH in Bethesda, my wife Debbie, who's actually from Kenosha, we decided to try to jog around the track of the gym once. She says she made it and I did not. You know, the story changes after 28 years of marriage, but anyhow, it was only 1 lap, and I thought it was a bit silly after being a Parkside athlete that I couldn't even make it 1 lap around the track. So we started jogging and jogging and jogging. Then I decided we should do a race to give us something to train for. Started with a 10-miler, barely finished. Then I had the brilliant idea I should train for a marathon. Okay? So even being slow of foot and having the opposite body type of most successful runners, I'll just do it once and check it off my bucket list. So I started running more and more. I read up on the top, talked to people in the sport, and eventually got to 20 miles. I did my first marathon. It was awful. It was absolutely horrible. But I finished. So then I said, you know what? Maybe that was a fluke. I have to do another one to prove to myself that that one wasn't a fluke. So I finished that one. Then I carried that sort of faulty logic on for 34 more marathons. I ended up completing 34 before a health condition ended that pursuit. So again, don't stop here. Keep climbing, keep pushing yourself. My labs are working on gene therapy for an inherited disease and for cancer vaccines. We hope to be undertaking first in the world clinical trials this year, next year in 2015. So what will happen if our trials are successful? After we cure Fabry disease, for example, do we quit? Nah, there's 6,999 more inherited disease to cure. So I'll check this one off the list and move on. I'd like to finish with a quote from another Midwesterner. Born in South Dakota, but lived most of his life in my home state of Minnesota. Hubert Humphrey, here it is. You can always debate about what you should have done, The question is, what are you going to do? Savor this day, relish this moment of accomplishment. Through hard work and sacrifice, you've gotten to this point. Be proud of your achievements and proud of the fact that you've graduated from UW-Parkside. I am. Celebrate today. Then tomorrow, get up and take on new challenges. The question is, what are you going to do? Thank you.